I am sitting in my small apartment looking out the window with a cup of coffee in my hands, thinking about how everything started with my grandmother's recipe book. 3 years ago, I thought I had found the perfect way to honor her memory while building something meaningful. I started a handmade candy business using her secret recipes, and my family seemed so supportive at first. We built Grammy's Secret Sweets from nothing into something incredible. But maybe I was too naive to trust them completely. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you the most. Before I tell you how everything fell apart, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. Hit that like button if you have ever trusted the wrong people, and subscribe because this story has a twist that nobody saw coming, especially my own family. Looking back, losing my marketing job in 2019 was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, even though it did not feel that way at the time. I had been working at a mid-sized advertising agency for 4 years, and when they laid off half the staff during budget cuts, I found myself unemployed for the first time since college. The severance pay would last me about 3 months, so I had some time to figure things out. During my second week of unemployment, I decided to clean out my late grandmother's house that my parents had been meaning to sell. She had passed away 2 years earlier, but we had been putting off dealing with her belongings. While going through boxes in the basement, I found her old recipe notebook tucked away behind some Christmas decorations. The leather cover was worn, and the pages were yellowed, but every recipe was written in her careful handwriting. I remembered how she used to make the most incredible chocolate chip cookies and fudge brownies when I was a kid. She always said she had special ingredients that made them taste better than anything you could buy in stores. As I flipped through the notebook, I realized these were not just regular recipes. She had detailed notes about specific chocolate brands, exact mixing techniques, and even temperature adjustments for different weather conditions. That weekend, I decided to try making her chocolate chip cookies. I went to 3 different stores to find the exact ingredients she specified. The whole process took me 6 hours because I followed every single instruction perfectly. When I pulled them out of the oven, the smell brought back memories of being 8 years old in her kitchen. I took a bite, and it was exactly like I remembered. I brought a batch to my friend Marcus, who lived in the same apartment complex. He literally stopped mid-conversation when he tasted one. He said they were the best cookies he had ever eaten and asked if I would make some for his girlfriend's birthday party. I made 2 dozen cookies and a tray of brownies for the party, and everyone kept asking where I had bought them. When I said I made them myself, people started offering to pay me to make more. That gave me an idea. I created a simple Facebook page called Grammy's Secret Sweets and posted pictures of the cookies and brownies. Within a week, I had received 12 orders from friends and their friends. I charged $15 per dozen cookies and $20 per brownie tray, which seemed reasonable. My first month of sales brought in $200, which was not much, but felt like a huge victory. By the second month, word had spread through social media, and I was getting orders from people I had never met. I started an Instagram account and posted pictures of fresh batches coming out of the oven. The organic growth was incredible. I was making $500 that month and realized I might be onto something special. I decided to take it seriously and rented time in a commercial kitchen space downtown. I bought professional-grade mixers and baking sheets, which cost me about $2,000, but immediately improved my production capacity. I could now fulfill larger orders and maintain consistent quality. My family started showing genuine interest around this time. My dad Robert would ask about my monthly revenue, and my mom Linda kept suggesting I should expand the product line. My younger sister Sarah, who had just graduated with a marketing degree, offered ideas about social media strategy and branding. Their enthusiasm felt genuine, and I appreciated having their support after feeling uncertain about my career direction for so long. By the 6th month, I was consistently making $3,000 per month and had built a loyal customer base. People were ordering for office parties, birthday celebrations, and holiday gifts. I realized this could actually become a real business, not just a side hustle. I officially registered the company, got all the necessary permits, and rented a small warehouse space on the outskirts of town where I could scale up production. Month 8 changed everything. My revenue had jumped to $8,000, and I was working 12-hour days to keep up with demand. That is when my dad approached me with what seemed like a generous offer. Robert had been working in construction management for 25 years and was eligible for early retirement. He suggested taking his pension and coming to work with me full-time to help grow the business. At first, it sounded perfect. He had decades of experience managing teams and projects, skills I definitely lacked. We sat down for dinner, and he presented his vision for expanding Grammy's Secret Sweets into a regional brand. He talked about distribution partnerships, wholesale contracts, and professional packaging. His enthusiasm was infectious, and I felt grateful to have someone with his experience want to join my little operation. Sarah chimed in that she wanted to leave her entry-level marketing job and work with us full-time as well. She had been helping me with social media on weekends and had some great ideas about influencer partnerships and targeted advertising. The three of us, working together, felt like a dream team. My mom, Linda, who had worked in accounting for years, suggested we should professionalize our arrangement with proper contracts and profit-sharing agreements. She said it would protect everyone and make the business more legitimate. Looking back, I should have been more careful about the details, but I trusted them completely. They were my family, after all. We drew up contracts that gave Robert 40% of the profits, Sarah 30%, and me 30%. At the time, it seemed fair since they would be contributing full-time work and significant expertise. I was just happy to have partners who believed in what I had built. The first month of our official partnership went smoothly. Robert streamlined our supplier relationships and negotiated better prices on ingredients. Sarah launched a more sophisticated social media campaign that brought in new customers from neighboring states. I focused on perfecting new recipes and maintaining quality control. We were a well-oiled machine, and revenue continued climbing. But sometime during the second month, I started noticing subtle changes that made me uncomfortable. Robert began making decisions about suppliers without discussing them with me first. When I asked about a new chocolate vendor he had chosen, he said he was just trying to optimize our costs and did not want to bother me with operational details. Sarah started posting content on our Instagram account without showing me the plans first, saying she wanted to maintain consistent posting schedules. These changes individually seemed reasonable, but together they made me feel like I was being slowly pushed out of decision-making processes. The business I had started from my grandmother's recipes was becoming something I had less and less control over. The real red flag came when I discovered they had been having evening meetings at my parents' house without inviting me. When I confronted them about it, Robert said they were just brainstorming ways to help me grow the company more efficiently. Sarah added that they did not want to burden me with every small operational discussion since I was already working so hard on product development. Their explanations sounded logical, but something felt wrong. I had started this business, and now I was being treated like a junior partner in my own company. The enthusiasm I once felt was being replaced by a growing sense of unease that I could not quite articulate. By month 12, my suspicions proved correct in the worst possible way. I discovered that Robert had been communicating directly with our major suppliers about exclusive contracts that would give him primary vendor relationships. When I confronted him about this, he claimed he was just trying to secure better pricing for the company. But the contracts I found in his briefcase told a different story. They positioned him as the primary business contact, effectively cutting me out of future negotiations. Sarah had changed all the passwords for our social media accounts and website without telling me. When I asked for access, she said she was implementing better security protocols and would share the new password soon. 3 days later, I still did not have access to the Instagram account I had created and the website that featured my grandmother's story prominently. The situation escalated when I was excluded from a crucial meeting with our biggest potential client, a regional grocery chain that wanted to carry our products in 40 stores. Robert and Sarah met with them without me saying I was too busy with production to attend. I only found out about the meeting from Maya, who overheard Sarah talking about it on a phone call. That evening, I went to my parents' house unannounced and found Robert and Sarah in the dining room with legal documents spread across the table. They looked startled when I walked in, and Robert quickly gathered the papers. But I had seen enough to recognize what they were: documents outlining a buyout proposal for my shares in the company. The confrontation that followed was the most painful conversation I have ever had with my family. Robert sat me down and explained that they had been consulting with a business attorney about the future of Grammy's secret sweets. He said I was young and lacked the experience necessary to manage a growing enterprise. The company needed professional leadership to reach its full potential. Sarah supported him, saying I should focus on what I did best, which was recipe development and creative work. She suggested I could remain involved as a consultant while they handled operations and strategy. They had calculated that my 30% stake was worth approximately $15,000 based on current assets and projected earnings. I knew they were lowballing me significantly. The business was generating consistent monthly revenue of $8,000 with strong growth trends. Any reasonable valuation would put the company's worth at least $100,000, making my share worth $30,000 minimum. But they presented their offer as generous, considering I would be relieved of all management responsibilities. When I refused their proposal, the atmosphere in the room changed completely. Robert's supportive demeanor disappeared, and he gave me an ultimatum. Either I could sell my shares back to them at their proposed price, or they would exercise their majority partnership rights to dissolve the company entirely. Sarah reminded me that according to our contracts, major decisions required majority approval, which they now controlled with their combined 70%. I felt trapped and betrayed. This was the business I had built from nothing, using my grandmother's recipes and my own hard work. Now, my own family was essentially forcing me out of it with legal maneuvering I had never anticipated. The worst part was how calculated it all seemed. They had been planning this for months while pretending to support me. After 3 days of agonizing deliberation, I signed the buyout agreement. $15,000 felt like nothing compared to what I was losing, but fighting them in court would have cost more than that in legal fees, and I could not bear the thought of a prolonged battle with my own family. The day I cleaned out my desk at the warehouse was one of the darkest of my life. They continued operating Grammy's secret sweets without me using the systems I had developed and the supplier relationships I had built. Seeing their social media posts about new products and expansion plans felt like watching strangers live in your house. But this betrayal, as devastating as it was, would eventually become the catalyst for something much better. The first 3 months after leaving Grammy's secret sweets were the hardest period of my adult life. I felt lost, angry, and questioning everything I thought I knew about family loyalty. But during those dark weeks, I made a decision that would change everything. Instead of wallowing in resentment, I would use this experience as fuel to build something even better. I spent countless hours researching the gourmet food industry, studying successful companies, and identifying gaps in the market that Grammy's secret sweets was not addressing. While they focused on mass market appeal and cost-cutting measures, I noticed there was significant demand for premium artisan quality confections that told authentic stories about their origins. I developed the concept for Heritage Bites, a brand that would honor traditional baking methods while incorporating modern flavor innovations. Instead of competing directly with my former company, I would target a completely different market segment. Where Grammy's secret sweets sold affordable treats for everyday consumption, Heritage Bites would create luxury gift items and specialty products for discerning customers. The product development phase took 4 months of intense experimentation. I created artisan chocolate collections featuring unique flavor combinations like lavender honey truffle and bourbon caramel squares. I designed premium gift boxes with elegant packaging that told the story of each recipe's heritage. Every product had to meet standards that were significantly higher than anything I had made before. Finding the right team was crucial to my success. Through a local culinary school, I met Jake, a professionally trained baker who had worked at high-end restaurants but wanted to transition into entrepreneurial ventures. His technical skills complemented my creativity perfectly, and he brought a level of precision to our production processes that elevated everything we made. Maya joined us as our digital marketing specialist after responding to a post I made on LinkedIn. She had been working for a large corporation, but was looking for an opportunity to make a bigger impact with a smaller, more innovative company. Her background in data analytics helped us understand our target customers better than I ever could have alone. Alex became our operations manager after we met at a local business networking event. He had experience scaling food businesses and understood the logistics challenges we would face as we grew. Having someone handle inventory shipping and vendor relationships allowed me to focus on what I did best. Instead of trying to compete with online sales immediately, we started by partnering with local coffee shops and boutique stores. This strategy allowed us to build relationships with business owners who appreciated quality and were willing to pay premium prices for exceptional products. Our first retail partner was a family-owned cafe that ordered 50 gift boxes for their holiday season. The response exceeded our expectations. Customers were not just buying our products, they were sharing stories about receiving them as gifts and asking where they could find more. Word-of-mouth marketing proved more valuable than any advertising campaign we could have afforded. After 6 months, Heritage Bites was generating $12,000 in monthly revenue. We had established relationships with 25 retail partners and were receiving inquiries from stores in other cities. The quality-focused approach was working exactly as I had hoped. By the end of our first year, we opened a small showroom and tasting cafe in the downtown Arts District. This space allowed customers to experience our products firsthand and learn about the stories behind each recipe. Monthly revenue had grown to $25,000, and we were preparing to launch an online store to serve customers nationwide. The local business community took notice of our rapid growth and unique positioning. A regional business magazine contacted me about featuring Heritage Bites in their annual Success Stories issue. Having my story recognized as an example of innovative entrepreneurship felt like validation that my decision to start over had been the right choice. What made this success even more meaningful was the way we had built the company culture. Jake, Maya, Alex, and I operated as true partners, with everyone contributing ideas and sharing in both challenges and victories. This collaborative environment was everything my experience with family business had not been. Success has a way of changing how people view you, and my family's attitude shifted dramatically once Heritage Bites became profitable and well-known. About 18 months after I had left Grammy's Secret Sweets, Robert called me for the first time since our legal dispute. His tone was completely different from the confrontational demeanor he had shown during our buyout negotiations. He started the conversation by saying he was proud of what I had accomplished with Heritage Bites and admitted that maybe they had underestimated my business abilities. Then he revealed the real reason for his call. Grammy's Secret Sweets was struggling financially. Their focus on cutting costs and maximizing volume had led to quality problems that were hurting their reputation. Customer complaints were increasing, and several major accounts had canceled their orders. Sarah called me the next day with a more direct approach. She said they had made mistakes in how they handled our separation and wanted to explore ways we could work together again. She suggested that Heritage Bites and Grammy's Secret Sweets could merge, combining their production capacity with our premium brand positioning. Alternatively, she wondered if I would consider returning to Grammy's Secret Sweets in an executive role, with guaranteed decision-making authority. Their proposals were tempting in some ways. Working with family again could heal the wounds that had been festering for months. Combining resources might accelerate growth for both companies. Part of me wanted to believe that they had learned from their mistakes and genuinely wanted to rebuild our relationship. But I had learned too much about myself and about business to make the same mistake twice. The success of Heritage Bites had not happened because of luck or favorable circumstances. It happened because I had built a company based on clear values, mutual respect, and shared vision. Those elements had been missing from my previous family business experience, and I could not assume they would be present if I went back. I politely declined both proposals. I told Robert and Sarah that I appreciated their acknowledgement of my capabilities. But Heritage Bites was thriving as an independent company with the team I had carefully assembled. I wished them success with Grammy's secret sweets, but explained that my focus needed to remain on the business and relationships I had built from scratch. The conversation was difficult but necessary. They seemed surprised by my refusal, as if they had expected me to jump at the chance to reunite with family. But I had learned that business partnerships require more than shared DNA. They require trust, respect, and alignment of values that simply cannot be forced or assumed. 6 months later, I heard through mutual friends that Grammy's Secret Sweets had closed permanently. Robert had returned to construction work, and Sarah had taken a marketing position with another company. I felt sad about their failure, but not guilty about my decision to maintain independence. Meanwhile, Heritage Bites continued growing steadily. We expanded our retail presence to over 100 locations across 3 states and launched our national online store. The team had grown to 12 employees, all of whom shared our commitment to quality and authentic customer relationships. We were featured in Food and Wine magazine as one of the top emerging artisan confectionery brands in the country. The most rewarding aspect of this journey has been proving to myself that I could rebuild after betrayal without becoming bitter or vengeful. The experience taught me that sometimes the people who hurt you most deeply also give you the greatest gift by forcing you to discover your own strength and capabilities. Building Heritage Bites from nothing, surrounded by people who genuinely supported my vision, showed me what healthy business relationships could look like. Every challenge we faced was met with open communication and collaborative problem-solving. Every success was shared and celebrated together. This was the kind of professional environment I had always wanted, but had never experienced with my family. The betrayal that once felt like the end of my entrepreneurial dreams actually became the beginning of something much better. I learned that trust must be earned and maintained, not assumed based on family relationships. I discovered that my own judgment and instincts were more reliable than I had given them credit for. Most importantly, I realized that success built on your own terms feels infinitely more satisfying than success achieved through compromising your values or accepting treatment that diminishes your worth. Sometimes the greatest betrayal becomes your greatest blessing, but only if you have the courage to rebuild rather than just resent. The choice to move forward with integrity, even when others have not treated you with the same respect, ultimately determines whether you emerge from difficult experiences stronger or just more bitter. Looking back now, I am grateful for every difficult moment that led me to where I am today. Heritage Bites represents not just a successful business, but proof that you can honor your roots while creating something entirely your own. My grandmother's recipes live on in a way that truly honors her memory, and I have built a company culture based on the values she taught me about treating people with kindness and respect. If you have experienced betrayal from people you trusted, remember that their actions reflect their character, not your worth. Your response to that betrayal will define your future much more than their initial actions ever could. Choose to rebuild rather than resent, and you might discover capabilities you never knew you possessed. Have you ever had to rebuild after being betrayed by people close to you? Let me know in the comments how you handled that situation. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe for more real-life experiences about overcoming family and business challenges. Share this with someone who might need to hear that betrayal does not have to define your future. Thank you for watching, and remember that sometimes losing everything is just the beginning of finding something much better.